Human rights are
Nakalibing na pero hinalay pa. Ganyan naman ang
one by
nangyari.
one. Human rights are being suffocated.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will be explaining the human rights violation that I choose, which is the Fausto family massacre. First of all, I will be explaining the background of the case. The Fausto family massacre refers to the killing of 4 family members, sugarcane farmers Rolly Fausto, 55, his wife Imelda, 50, and their 2 sons Ben, 15, and Raven, 12. In their home in Himamaylan City, Negros Occidental on June 14, 2023. The victims are Rolly and Imelda Fausto and their minor sons Ben and Raven. The location, their bamboo house in Sitio Kangkiling, Barangay Benavista, a remote area of Himamaylan City. The scene, neighbors discovered the bodies the following morning. Rolly's body was found about 50 meters from the hut, while Imelda and the children were inside. Over 50 spent M16 bullet shells were recovered from the site. And now, I will be explaining the conflicting allegations. The case is marked by starkly different accounts of who was responsible. First, military and the police claims. Authorities allege the New People's Army (NPA) committed the massacre. They claim Rolly Fausto was a military asset facilitating the surrender of rebel relatives, making the family targets of communist terrorist retaliations. Second, right groups and family claims. Groups like Karapatan and the International Coalition for Human Rights in the Philippines accused the Philippine Army 94th Infantry Battalion. They noted the family had a history of being red tagged, accused of communist ties, harassed, and assaulted by soldiers prior to the massacre. The third one, independent investigations. The Commission of Human Rights, CHR, launched its own probe to verify these conflicting claims, noting that all possible angels would be pursued. And now, the current status as of 2024-2025. As of June 2024, 1 year after the incident, the massacre remained largely unresolved, with no suspects brought to a trial despite police identifying alleged NPA perpetrators based on witness statements. The eldest daughter, Emily, who initially reported the crime, reportedly went into hiding for a period due to security concerns. So now, I will be explaining the 3 conflict analysis tools that I use, which are timeline, conflict triangle, and multi-party geometry. First is the timeline, the sequence of conflict. In March 2022, the Fausto family reported that soldiers from the 94th Infantry Battalion (IB) forcibly entered their home, accusing them of supporting the New People's Army (NPA). In May 2023, Rolly Fausto was reportedly picked up by the military elements and coerced into acting as a guide for the operations, further increasing the family vulnerability. In June 14, 2023, the massacre occurs. Rolly, Imelda, and their 2 minor sons are shot dead in their home in Himamaylan City. Post-June 2023, the Philippine National Police (PNP) and the Philippine Army blamed the NPA. Human rights groups and the victim's surviving daughter blame the 94th IB, citing the previous year of harassment. The second one is the conflict triangle, which is the ABC model. This tool explores the relationship between attitudes, behaviors, and contradictions. First, attitudes, which is the feeling. Stated forces view peasant organizers or those in red zones which with suspicion, hostility, or the red tagging. Second one, victims, peasants, deep-seated fear of both military presence and rebel taxations and retaliations. The behaviors, which is the actions, extrajudicial killings, e.g., illegal searches, and harassment, the use of 50 spent shells indicates an intent to overkill and terrorize. The contradictions, which is the core issue, the struggle for land reform in Negros Occidental, the Fausto family were sugarcane farmers, the systemic inequality in land ownership often fuels the armed conflict between the state. The last one is the multi-party geometry. This tool visualizes the power dynamics between different actors. The primary actors, the Fausto family, victims, versus the perpetrators, contested 94th IB versus NPA. The secondary actors, the Commission on Human Rights, CHR, and Karapatan, who act as investigators and advocates for the victims. The last one is asymmetric power. The Fausto family represents the most vulnerable point in the geometry, unarmed civilians caught between the two heavily armed groups, the state and the rebels. The conflict is asymmetric because the family had no means of defense against military-grade weaponry. So why the family Fausto massacre is a human rights violation case? It is because every person has the right to live safely and be treated fairly. Rolly, Imelda, and their two young sons were killed in their own home, a place where they should have felt protected. No one should be hurt or killed just because someone thinks they are linked to a group. In taking lives like this breaks the basic rule that all people deserve to stay alive. Before the massacre, the family faced unfair treatment that also broke their rights. Soldiers are supposed to keep people safe, but the Fausto's family said that the military searched their house without good reasons and accused them of working with rebels. Later, Raleigh was questioned and forced to try and get information for the military. This is wrong because no one should be pressured or threatened to do something they don't want to do. The way the case has been handled after the killings is another reason it's a human rights issue. People have the right to find out what really happened and see that those responsible are punished. But there are different stories about who did it. The military says rebels were to blame, while human rights groups point to the soldiers. When the truth is hidden and no one is held accountable, it means the family's right to justice is being ignored. Also, relatives of the Faustos and people who know what happened have said they feel scared to talk. Some have been threatened for trying to share what they saw, which stops them for speaking up to help the investigations. This is not right because everyone should be able to tell the truth without being afraid of getting hurt or in trouble. The investigation itself has been slow and hard to follow. There hasn't been clear information shared with the public or the family about what steps are being taken to find the killers. When cases like this are not looked into properly, it sends a message that some lives matter less than others. Every family has the right to know why their loved ones were taken from them and to see that the law works the same for everyone no matter who they are or who is accused. Without real action to uncover the truth and bring those responsible to justice, the Fausto family's story will remain a painful reminder of how failing to protect people's rights can leave deep wounds in a community. Everyone deserves to live in a place where fairness and safety are not just words, but things are truly guaranteed for all.